Ukraine and Russia made tentative progress in talks Monday but failed to reach a deal on creating humanitarian corridors from bombarded cities as the bloodshed from Moscow's invasion mounted. Kyiv said there had been positive results from the third round of negotiations, focused on giving civilians evacuation routes from besieged towns, but Russia said its expectations were not fulfilled. The comments dimmed hopes of a respite for terrified civilians who have been fleeing under a hail of shelling and mortar fire, with women and children among those who have been killed. The conflict pushed oil prices to a near 14-year high, while gas prices also rocketed and stock markets around the world plunged over concerns about the effect on the global economy. Ukraine began evacuating civilians from besieged cities on Tuesday after Russia allowed the creation of humanitarian corridors, and Kyiv appealed to Moscow to keep its guns silent so that people could leave safely. Residents began leaving the northeastern city of Sumy and the town of Irpin near the capital Kyiv, but it was unclear if Ukraine would agree to use other humanitarian corridors. With the invasion well into its second week, Russian troops have made significant advances in southern Ukraine but stalled in some other regions. Ukrainian soldiers and volunteers fortified the capital, Kyiv, with hundreds of checkpoints and barricades designed to thwart a takeover. A steady rain of shells and rockets fell on in the Kyiv suburb of Bacha, where the mayor reported heavy artillery fire. Russia has moved to encircle other key cities throughout the north as it advances toward Kyiv, according to intelligence reports from Britain's Ministry of Defense. Attempts to take Chernihiv have not been successful, while advances from Sumy through the sparsely populated areas to the east of Kyiv have been met with less resistance, according to the Institute for the Study of War. The fire at an oil depot in Luhansk was caused by a massive explosion by Ukraine's attack in the separatist region, a top official close to the Luhansk People's Republic has claimed. The armed formations of Ukraine struck at the Luhansk oil depot with a Toka-U missile. The Luhansk People's Republic is a self-proclaimed breakaway state located within Ukraine. The Polish government, in contrast to NATO, take a divergent stand on supply of jets for Ukraine. The Chancellery of the Polish Prime Minister rejected rumors that the country is in talks with the US to backfill its fighter plane fleet if Warsaw decides to deliver its MiG-29s to Kyiv. On March 1, Polish President Andrzej Duda stated that his country will not send any jets to Ukrainian airspace. Russia's defense ministry has also threatened countries, notably NATO member Romania, against hosting Kyiv's military planes, claiming that they could end up being involved in an armed conflict. In a video conference, Defense Ministry spokesperson Igor Konashenkov claimed that several Ukrainian combat jets had been redeployed to Romania and other Ukraine's neighbors. He emphasized that if the jets attacked Russian forces from those countries, it could be considered an engagement in the military conflict. Konashenkov said, "We know for sure that Ukrainian combat aircraft have flown to Romania and other neighboring countries." The spokesperson further stated that Ukraine's combat-ready aircraft had been destroyed in practically all instances. The defense officials informed that the Brahmos supersonic cruise missile was fired from the Andaman Sea recently at an uninhabited island in Andaman and Nicobar. On Monday, March 7, an extended-range land attack Brahmos supersonic cruise missile achieved precision hit, showcasing its pinpoint accuracy after it was fired without a warhead. According to defense sources, from a mobile autonomous launcher, the missile was fired. The launcher was deployed in the Bay of Bengal in full configuration against a target. The success of the trial was confirmed by all telemetry and tracking stations, including naval ships near the terminal point. In November 2020, the Indian Army successfully test-fired the land attack version of supersonic cruise missile Brahmos from Andaman and Nicobar Islands, hitting the target with pinpoint accuracy and proving that it can avoid interception by missile defense systems. Earlier on March 5, the Indian Navy successfully test-fired a long-range version of the Brahmos cruise missile. The 9th edition of India-Sri Lanka Bilateral Maritime Exercise (SLE-NEX) began at Vishakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh on Monday. The bilateral maritime exercise is scheduled at Vishakhapatnam from March 7 to March 10. The exercise will be conducted in two phases, the harbour phase at Vishakhapatnam followed by sea phase on March 9 and 10 in the Bay of Bengal. Sri Lanka Navy will be represented by SLNS Sayurala, an advance offshore patrol vessel, and the Indian Navy by INS Kirch, a guided missile corvette. Other participants from the Indian Navy include INS Jyoti, a fleet support tanker, advanced light helicopter, Sea-King and Chetak helicopters, and Donia maritime patrol aircraft. The previous edition was conducted in Trincomalee in October 2020.